So Rolex introduced the first hint of green in the Submariner with the 16610 LV designation, also dubbed as the Kermit. They did this as part of their 50th anniversary celebration in 2004. So the Kermit ran from 2004 to 2010, and it was the first watch to don the maxi dial, which has been continued up until now. In 2010, Rolex went all in on the green theme with the release of the 116610 LV, which is what we call the Hulk or Green Money Rolex. It was the Kermit's successor, but I think the new Kermit or Starbucks is actually the true successor because it follows the same theme of green bezel and black dial. Now let's go over some of the key similarities and differences between the two watches, Hulk and Kermit. The Kermit is a 5-digit reference, 16610 LV, ergo it also has the older case and less substantial, lower quality bracelet. It also has hollow end links. Perhaps it was the standard at the time, but Rolex has come a long way since. The Hulk is a 6-digit reference implying a new maxi case and bracelet with solid end links. The Kermit and Hulk actually both share the same movement. It's the caliber 3135, and they also share the maxi dial. The Kermit has nearly 9 iterations within its 7-year run from 2004 to 2010, which makes it really complicated to value accurately. Now, these are not actual iterations issued by Rolex, but it's actually variances in the production units seen across that period. The most valuable model by far is, of course, the first year, 2004, with the flat 4 bezel. Contrastingly, the Hulk is far more consistent throughout its 10-year production run from 2010 to 2020 and doesn't have many widely recognized revisions or iterations. Now, the current market value of the Hulk is about $5,000 more than the Kermit. Now, let's get into why the Hulk is currently a much better deal or investment than the Kermit. The first point here is quality. The 6-digit Submariners are far higher quality and nicer in the hand than the 5-digit ones. Now, I actually think we have reached some of the highest quality possible with the current alloy of 904L steel that Rolex uses within the 6-digit sub. So I'm quite confident that going 10, 20 years into the future, the construction of stainless steel sports watches is not really going to improve by a significant margin. The proportions will change, of course, but I don't think the watches will be noticeably more solid or better quality in the hand. Now, I think this way because the transition from the 116610 to the 126610 hasn't resulted in any more solid of a watch. Of course, the dimensions are slightly different and the ergonomics and proportions, but in terms of how solid the watches are, they are virtually the same. So that's one of the reasons why I think the Hulk is a better buy. The second reason is condition. The Rolex Hulk has recently ended its production, so there are a lot more pieces available in good condition. The last year of production always commands some of the highest value, and the only thing worth more than that is the first year in new old stock condition, so just brand new and just hidden away from the first year. That is impossibly rare to find, let alone at a decent price. Now, if you think about the Kermit, to find new old stock flat 4, a watch from 2004 that's never been worn, now that's kind of like a unicorn. Back during the production run of the Kermit, watches were not really the asset class they are today, and they didn't see any real appreciation back then. Most Kermits were sold at or under retail until the last 5 years. This naturally implies that people took less care of the watches, hence most pieces are well used or polished far too many times. This is much less the case with the Hulk, since the watch market has really picked up in the last few years of its production. The third reason is supply. Now you might say that, well, there's a lot more supply of the Hulk, and therefore it must be worth less in terms of an investment perspective than the Kermit. Well, that is partially true. If you compare two brand new old stock watches, a Hulk and a Kermit, the Kermit is currently far more valuable. But that's because the Kermit has already maximized its potential to gain value, whereas the Hulk still has a lot of unrealized gain to go. Hence why, despite higher supply, I think the Hulk is still a better purchase. Now, the fourth reason is not as important, but if you take a look at Rolex's entire history, the Hulk is the boldest Submariner produced by them. Of course, there are plenty of far crazier dials and Datejust, Daytonas, Day-Dates, whatnot, but those watches are kind of Marmite in their production, and they're not really the gold standard which the Submariner is to Rolex. I feel like it's kind of unlikely for Rolex to do another green dial Submariner in the next 10 years, just because they've used the same reference to make the Kermit or Starbucks. Now, these are all my thoughts based on the current market situation. Of course, things are very much subject to change, and this video might not seem all that relevant in a few months. For example, if some larger dealer decided to buy up all the existing stock of the Kermit, they would be able to set the market price of the watch. However, that is very unlikely, but it's more likely to happen with the Hulk than the Kermit. But what I'm trying to iterate is that this is based on the current market and trends. So those are pretty much my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this topic in the comments below. And thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.